Let's get some reaction with Nomarashiya Caluza, who is the KwaZulu-Natal Secretary of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SADTU. She joins us now. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, as this scandal ignites all sort of debates on the lack of oversight and potential corruption, the children shouldn't be forgotten. What is your reaction?
Good evening to you and to the viewers. You know, as such, we've been listening to the exchange of words between people who are doing business with the Department of Education. Our concern is that it's more like they are concerned about them getting the tenders, and no one is talking about the beneficiaries who are supposed to be the learners. The Constitution of the country calls for all of us to prioritize everything that has to do with the child. This school nutrition program is meant to enhance the learning of these children, deal with the hunger that is affecting many communities. And now with all these fightings that we are seeing, what we are concerned about as the union is that at the end of the day, this thing causes anxiety to the parents who are relying on this nutritious meal from the school for their kids. And our take as the union is that whatever that is being done now must be speeded up to ensure that when the time comes for the new appointees to kick in, the feeding of the learners must not be disrupted or disturbed. There must be not even a single day where our learners go without a meal, because that will mean that their learning is affected. Their concentration will also be disturbed.
And of course, as we listen to all these engagements and interactions, it also raises some important aspects about the quality of the food. I mean, there has been some concerns from some quarters about substandard food being given to the children, and that in itself is a matter of concern, isn't it?
Yes, it is always a concern, because remember, when the school nutrition program was introduced, it's not just to feed these learners, but the meal must be nutritious and there must be a balance, you know. That is why there must also be fruits and all of that, because here we're talking about learners that are still growing and they have to grow healthy, and that the schools have to assist through this meal. So as the union, we have also engaged the department in the past, because we're concerned, especially about the reports that are always there. Sometimes we deal with issues that are fake news that circulate on the social media, but what we always do is to engage the department to take us through how they are preparing the meals and all of that, because we really don't want a situation where the government releases funds for these meals, but you find that that which goes to the child is of substandard. For now, we have not received any complaints from school principals. But as I've said, most of the time you find that we deal with the misinformation that is propagated through the social media. But all those things have to be taken care of in terms of everyone rising to the occasion and making sure that if there are gaps, they are attended. And that is why, as such, we always engage the department so that they also attend to the issues if there are issues in schools.
You've just spoken about the impact that all these discussions, the allegations, the lack of oversight, the potential corruption is having on some parents who rely heavily on this meal for their children as they send them to school. Perhaps let's expand a little bit on the importance of the feeding scheme and what a difference it makes to these young people.
You know, in South Africa right now, we're experiencing high level of unemployment, which therefore means that many parents are not working. And for them, it's difficult to feed their own children. They have to go to school and they rely on this meal. You find that other families, for their kids, they only depend on the meal that is provided by the school. And we always see this through the learners who, after being fed, they will be coming to check if there are any leftovers. And sometimes they ask their teachers for these leftovers so that they can take home. So when they are not fed, surely parents are affected because they know that their kids will be coming back home empty stomach, with their empty stomach, when there's nothing to be offered at school, at home. So it's very important that as adults, as we engage in these engagements, fighting about the tenders and all of that, we must understand what it means to the parent who is not working but is willing to see their children studying like everyone. So this is about the learners. It was never meant for profit, and that is why initially when it started, it was more about local economic empowerment, ensuring that people closest to the schools are the ones that are feeding the learners in those schools.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Nomarashiya Caluza, who's KwaZulu-Natal Secretary of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SADTU.